Rob, appreciate you joining us. We'll just get to some couple questions for you here.
So, first of all, after 2 straight wins now, what's the mood in the locker room and atmosphere like?
It's always great to win. It's always great to get a good win versus a good opponent. And I know, speaking for the offensive line and myself, it's really fun to run the ball. And when you can do that, play in, play out like we did on Saturday, it was you start to have a lot of fun. And I think we need to keep working on some stuff, obviously, but it's always fun just to get a win no matter by how many points. Whether it's Sol Ross by however many, and then Cal Poly by 15 or so.
You got a conference opener this week. What are you expecting from that? What's the expectations in order to get a win there?
McNeese is a great team. They gave us some trouble last year, but they've got a good front up front. And we're getting ready to go to war. We know it's going to be a physical game. We all need to play our best. And offense, I feel like we haven't fully come together, and put up a 60 minutes of full force, just our offense, SFA offense. And so I think we need to pull that together this week, and I think it's going to be a good game.
Have you been able to draw off the crowds in the last couple games?
Oh, absolutely. It was my first time running out there with the Axe. And it was a lot of fun hearing people cheer for you. Once again, as an offensive line, you don't really get a lot of cheers unless you're doing something wrong. And so it was pretty awesome just to run out there and see the team coming towards you, and listening to the cannon go off as we score, and fireworks after the game, and just everybody cheering. It's an awesome home atmosphere, and we love it, and we hope that it is just like that on Saturday.
Yeah, and then earlier today, Jerrell Wimbley, Southland Offensive Player of the Week. I mean, especially with it being running back, just how much pride do you take in that? Obviously, Jerrell's, big part of the game plan, but just as an offensive lineman and just offensive line as a whole, I mean, sorry about that.
We take a lot of pride in that. Yeah, running the ball, like I said, it's a lot of fun, and when you can do that, and you can get a Southland Conference Player of the Week, it's pretty awesome. I don't know how much he ran for. I think it was like 140 or something like that, but that's a lot of fun. When you get over 100, that's a good day for an offensive line. And so we might not get the recognition, but the guy in the backfield, whether that's Sam or if that's Rel or someone else, it's a lot of fun and we take a lot of pride in that, because we feel like we put them in the position. We're obviously not making guys miss, and we're not the fastest guys out there, but if we can make a hole, they got a one-on-one, that's a good day.
What is that moment like? You block for a running back who breaks loose for 50 yards.
Oh, it's for me, it's a lot of just like pure adrenaline. Because I can't see behind me. So I just got to go off of, hopefully he's going to fit this right. And we've got one of the most talented back rooms, I think, in the whole Southland. And we've got guys that can step up. And so once I see, Rel or Rich or whoever it is break that long run, you're just praying that they score. Because there's nothing worse than them getting tackled 60 yards down the field, and you got to run up there, and we're going tempo. And us big guys are gassed, and we're running up there. But, yeah, we're – really, once we see them break, we're like, please score. Please go score. Or get 8 yards. That'd be great. So.
You guys are good. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Coach Carthel, appreciate you joining us. We'll jump right into some questions.
First, Coach, McNeese to open up the conference play. So what do you expect from them in this contest?
Woo! It'll be just like days of old, I think, between the Cowboys and Lumberjacks, and storied rivalry through the years, and that one was one that stung last year a little bit, the way that one went down, and they've made a change in coaching staff, and Dad Burn, they brought Coach V back, and so brought the legend back. So he's a great coach, a good friend, and got a lot of respect for him, the kind of program he runs, and he's done a good job, retaining that roster. They held on their DC and a lot of their players on defense, very, very strong defensively, I feel like. And so they're going to be a very talented team that we're going to have to play exceptionally well, give ourselves a chance to win. And so we got our work cut out for us. And just, again, very, very sound and athletic on defense. Offensively, they got one of the best backs in FCS. And really, really good player, and so you look at their games, they won the game they're supposed to. We're in a dogfight with ULL there early in the season and lost that one late. I thought outplayed and should have won the Weber State game. Went for 2 there at the end, and that one got away from them. And then last week they didn't play very well, against Utah State. I don't think that was their best outing, but a very, very capable team. That's a thing about conference play. It's a new season now, and everything preseason doesn't matter. It's about conference play, and this is a really good conference. Got some good teams. I think it'll be hard pressed to see anybody maybe go undefeated this year. I think there's some parity across the board. You look down at UTRGV, what they're doing, brand new program, averaging 62 points a game or whatever it is right now, and 4-0. So there's no off weeks in the Southland. I don't know that anybody gets through unscathed. You already saw Incarnate Word lost their opener there at Nichols. So every week will be a battle for us and for everybody else across the conference, and that's what makes it fun, and great parity and good teams playing. So should be a great matchup Saturday.
Yeah, who are some of their players just I guess on either side of the ball looking to stop or something? Yeah,
mainly, quarterback is transferred from Texas Tech. He's a kid that we recruited, great kid out of Texas, and does some really good things operating that offense. The Citizen kid, obviously at tailback, is exceptional. I think he started at Miami. He's a 4 or 5 star kid and a really good player. Defensively, they're really, really sound up front. Their front seven is very athletic, and they got big old safeties that come down and will fill the run. They play like linebackers, and they've got good enough corners. They can do that. They can lock you down. They're on the outside. So that's where they're long and athletic, and that poses some problems for opposing offenses. So it'll be a challenge on both sides of the ball, all 3 facets of the game.
Yeah, you talked about new season now. So how are you feeling as far as non-district or non-conference preparing you for conference play?
Like where we stand. 2-2 is the record. Obviously Houston playing a Big 12 team that's going on, and they're obviously pretty salty. Looking like ACU's had a great year. They're going to be tough to beat. I think they'll be a playoff team again, possibly win their conference. So those are the 2 that got away from us, and we won the other 2. I was really proud of our guys this Saturday. Obviously last week we beat Sul Ross, and you should beat Sul Ross, but this past week played a really good, I thought, Big Sky team, well-coached team that was talented, that played hard, and I was proud of the way we played. We played East Texas tough, played for 60 minutes. It wasn't perfect. We hadn't played our best football yet, which is exciting for us as coaches. You watch film, you're like, golly, we were so close. But we're still able to win the game with how hard we played. But we can still get better as coaches, as players, and I think our best football is ahead of us, and we're going to need that this week coming out of non-conference play, starting up Southland play.
Yeah, Coach, and then, last 2 games being at home, obviously this one on Saturday, also going to be at home for the conference opener. I mean, just talk about being able to defend home field like you guys have, really, since last year. I believe only lost 1 game at home last year, and then so far this year, undefeated at home, obviously heading into this week's game.
Yeah, that's a great point. We take a lot of pride playing at home, and I think somebody said the other day, I think we're 21-6 this decade at home, and that's pretty good record, and that's not just us, that's the fans, that's the cheer and dance squads, that's the LMB. They make a huge difference. That's the Purple Haze right there behind those visiting teams, banging those axe handles, and we're going to need all of that. It's going to be a absolute gorgeous day Saturday. I saw the forecast 88 and sunny and about 2% chance of rain. So it'll be Chamber of Commerce weather. I think it's family weekend here at SFA. That brings everybody out of the woodworks. And so let's get old Homer Bryce packed out because we're going to need it. Have the Cowboys come to town. So it is fun to play at home. We want to defend our turf. Need a great crowd to do that Saturday.
And, you talked about it obviously last year against McNeese. The Hail Mary is the biggest thing at the end of half that was a pretty big decider in that. Do you think, especially with the way that last year ended, is that going to be any extra motivation heading into this game?
It's not. That hurt last year. Obviously gave up the Hail Mary right before halftime. We fumbled a fumble return for a touchdown. We just dropped it and kicked it out of the back of the end zone. We're fixing to go up 17 points in the 4th quarter, so we let one get away from us. That was last year, and that's what we talked to guys about. The only thing that's good for is to see that you better be dialed into the details. Pay attention to details so you don't have plays like that slip up on you this game or any other. But that's this is a new team, and it's a new team in Lake Charles, and so that adds to the rivalry, that adds to the story and everything else. But these are two teams in 2025 that have a lot to prove, and they're talented and well coached, and so that'll be what decides this one here Saturday.
Yeah, and then Jerrell getting Southland Offensive Player of the Week, obviously big game from him, but some of that, obviously has to do with the offensive line as well. Just, talk about his performance and the offensive line as well, and how you've seen them kind of progress from that Week 1 game against Houston to this point heading into conference play. Yeah,
it's been really fun to see our Russian attack kind of get going, and I can't remember exactly what they rushed for this past year or this past week, but it was a lot, and that is a team stat when someone wins Player of the Week, and Jerrell obviously gets the accolade, but there's 11 guys on the field each time, and you talk about the O-line, they did a really good job, run blocking, and I thought the coaches did a really good job attacking Cal Poly, what they did defensively, and you saw some of that off-tackle stuff that we were doing, but the O-line did a good job. The unsung heroes are the receivers. Those guys were dominant. Blaine Green, Jordan Neighbors, Kylan Harris, Clayton Whalen, those guys had some outstanding blocks that turned a 4 or 5 yard gain into an explosive, and so that was really good. Again, we got to clean some things up. We rushed for, a bunch of yards, but I think we had 60-something yards in negative plays that are details, and details matter, and so those things will come back and bite you. Obviously, we were able to put that game away and carry a 25-point lead in the fourth quarter, but these games are going to be closer and closer because they get bigger and bigger, and this will be a huge one Saturday. So got to shore up some of those details so we can keep having that kind of production. But kudos to Jerrell Wimbley and the entire offense.
Appreciate you, Coach. Thanks
it was a great weekend, and appreciate everybody coming out. We had a awesome inaugural Sawmill Football Collective golf tournament and raised a bunch of money for our program and our kids. Appreciate East Texas Glass, HTO, and Inforce Capital. They were our big head coach sponsors, and so it was a great weekend all the way around for SFA football. Excellent.